Hello friends, we are from Group 1 and now we are going to present about the COVID-19 vaccination. And here is our group members. Moving on, I will be presenting our introduction to COVID-19. COVID-19 is an infection disease caused by the SARS-CoV-2 virus strain. People who get infected will show up the symptoms such as fever, cough, difficulty breathing, loss of taste or smell, sore throat, and others. The SARS-CoV-2 virus can be spread by airborne transmission, droplet transmission, and direct or indirect transmission. In some severe cases, COVID-19 may cause complications such as stroke, dementias, cardiomyopathy, acute respiratory failure, pneumonia, ARDS, and others. Those complications will cause the patient's condition worse and eventually lead to death. Among them, lungs are the organs most affected by COVID-19. As of 14 November 2021, more than 252 million individuals were infected by COVID-19 pandemic, which resulted in more than 5 million deaths worldwide. In Malaysia, there are around 2.57 million confirmed cases and 29k deaths. The only treatment that approved by the FDA is medication remdesivir, which can prevent the virus from multiplying inside cells. Many treatments are still under research, so vaccines become the most effective way to stop COVID-19 pandemic. Those people who refuse to take vaccine due to the rumors and lack of understanding about COVID-19, it will cause the slower vaccination rate and difficulty to achieve herd immunity. In this video, we are going to educate the public on the importance of COVID-19 vaccination in herd immunity and also spread the general knowledge about COVID-19.
So, how does our body respond towards the COVID-19 virus? When COVID-19 virus first infects through the nasal-oral route, followed by infection in cells expressing SCE2 receptors in the lungs, such as type 2 alveolar cells, the innate immune response initiated by recognition of pathogen-associated molecular patterns, PAMPs, such as spike protein and viral nucleic acids, as well as damage or danger-associated molecular patterns, DAMPs, such as intracellular molecules released from damaged cells or neutrophil extracellular tract, NET. These are recognized by pathogen recognition receptors, PRRs, present on alveolar or interstitial macrophages, as well as dendritic cells, mainly through toll-like receptors 3, 7, and 8, as well as RIG-like receptors. This leads to enhanced interferon production to prevent viral replication and increased cytokine production for pro-inflammatory responses. Following this, adaptive immune responses occur, involving mainly T cells and B cells. Firstly, for T cell activation, dendritic cells present viral antigens in MHC class I to cytotoxic T cells, so the activated cytotoxic T cells try to kill virus-infected cells in the lungs. Some COVID-19 cases also reported presence of the helper T cell subset, for instance, Th1 or Th17 cells stimulated by viral epitopes that leads to aggravated inflammatory responses. Meanwhile, B cells or plasma cells also recognize viral proteins and are activated to produce antibodies specific to COVID-19 virus. It helps to deactivate viruses and provide systemic immunity in different organs. Subsequently, production of early-stage IgM or later-stage IgG activate the classical complement pathway, results in C3b-mediated pathogen opsonization, membrane attack complex formation, immune cells recruitment by C3a and C5a. However, COVID-19 virus is too strong that when we first encounter them, unrestrained replication of COVID-19 virus dampen the antiviral interferon response and exaggerate our innate and adaptive immune systems. In this case, the continuous infiltration of immune cells leads to cytokine storm. Thus, fluid accumulates in our lungs and leads to pneumonia. That's why we need the help of vaccine.
Okay, so what do you know about COVID-19 vaccines? Since vaccines typically are designed to prevent diseases, COVID-19 vaccines help our system in developing immunity to the COVID-19 virus without having us become severely infected by it. This defense is built up over time by the body's immune system. There are three types of vaccines are commonly used these days, which are mRNA vaccines, viral vector vaccines, and inactivated virus vaccines. Here are the examples of the vaccines that you have normally heard of. Firstly, how does mRNA vaccines work? As it contains genetically modified mRNA, it trains the cells on how to produce the S protein located on the surface of the COVID-19 virus. Then, after the cells replicate, it helps to destroy the vaccine genetic material. Hence, our system will understand that the protein should not be there and produce T lymphocytes and B lymphocytes that will recognize and fight against the virus if it gets infected. The advantages of mRNA vaccine is that it has a good safety as it does not require a living component and synthetically produced. It is also simple to manufacture, which also triggers an adaptive immune response. The challenge will be that it has a storage issue due to some mRNA vaccines require extremely cold storage condition. It also has unintended effects which concern with instability and low immunogenicity. Here are the vaccine candidates for mRNA vaccines, which are Pfizer and Moderna. Both are similar in terms of doses, which requires 2 doses only, overall efficacy, and time for the maximum immunity as it follows. Secondly, how does viral vector vaccines work? As it contains genetic material from COVID-19 virus to be placed in a modified version of a different virus, which is the viral vector, when it enters the cell, it delivers the genetic material from the COVID-19 virus and instructs the cell to replicate the S protein. When there is a presence of S protein found on the surface of the cells, the immune system responds by producing antibodies and defensive lymphocytes. Therefore, the antibodies will combat when the individual gets infected from it. The advantage of viral vector vaccine is that it is a proven technology that can trigger a stronger immune response as it involves B cells and T cells. The challenge is that it is hard to manufacture and it is important to ensure the virus vector is safe to be used. These are the vaccine candidates for viral vector vaccines, which are AstraZeneca and Johnson & Johnson. Both are different in terms of their doses, efficacy, and the time of maximal immunity as it follows. Thirdly, how does inactivated virus vaccines work? As it contains whole virus particles that have been killed or inactivated to keep them from causing disease, the cell could not be infected and replicated but can trigger an immune response. It is usually safer due to the virus being dead and requires booster dose as well. The advantages of the inactivated virus vaccine is that it is suitable for those with weak immune system and is simple to manufacture too. The challenge is that booster shot may be required and high manufacturing cost is needed. Sinovac is one of the inactivated virus vaccines used nowadays. It requires 2 doses, shows good efficacy, and has a short time for maximal immunity as it follows.
In order to be declared safe and effective, a COVID-19 vaccine must pass certain tests and standards. Organizations such as the National Academy of Sciences, the National Institute for Health, and the Food and Drug Administration use scientific data from research to help decide if and when new vaccines can become available to the public. First step is careful testing. All vaccines go through clinical trials to test safety and effectiveness. For the COVID-19 vaccine, the FDA set high safety standards for vaccine developers to meet. Next is authorization for emergency use. Once a vaccine is shown to be safe and effective, the FDA can grant it an emergency use authorization. Lastly, continuous monitoring for problems and side effects. Once a vaccine gets an EUA and is being given to people, the FDA and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention continue to watch carefully in case problems arise. Hence, vaccines are only given to the public once they are declared safe and effective by the FDA. Importance of vaccination. First, vaccination gives protection by reducing the risk of severe illness, hospitalization, and even death. Next, herd immunity. When the majority of the population has been vaccinated against the disease, for example COVID-19, there will be few people left to whom the infection can spread. Herd immunity protects the few who have not been vaccinated or could not be vaccinated. If enough people are vaccinated, it is harder for the virus to spread to those people who cannot have vaccines. For example, children who are too young to be vaccinated, people with immune system problems, and those who are too ill to receive vaccines, such as cancer patients. Vaccination can effectively stop the spread of viruses in the community. Lastly, eradication of disease. Vaccination helps to protect future generations by eradicating diseases. Many infectious diseases are rare or eradicated now as a result of vaccination programs, but new infectious diseases are appearing around the world. Hence, vaccination helps to eradicate the diseases.
Then why are vaccines so controversial? There are numerous common arguments and concerns, such as vaccine causes autism. Some people have pointed out that MMR vaccine causes autism, or vaccines contain heavy metals such as mercury and aluminium, or even that non-vaccine approaches are better and safer, such as essential oils or drinking warm water. However, these have all been disproven as they have been shown to be either flawed studies or just false information, or even they have no scientific backing at all and could be politically motivated. Then why and how are anti-vaccination movements perpetuating? Numerous factors can pin down to politicians with their own political agenda with the intent of devising the people or antagonizing oppositions, or misguided scientists with their biased views in search for profit or political agendas. Or it could even be effective parent groups who are unqualified individuals, but they think they are correct due to mob mentality with inadequate research.
In conclusion, COVID-19 vaccine were not rushed and they have been massively accelerated. The vaccine is safe and provide high effective to prevent us from hospitalization and death if we get infected. People should get vaccinated to minimize the transmission of COVID-19 and stop the pandemic. So, let's get vaccinated as soon as possible, not only for yourself, but also for the others. And this is our reference. And thank you for watching.